All right. So CloudWatch. So management tool. These are all different tools to basically to manage or more, the Amazon services. And also sometimes your custom applications, you can do a lot of things with these tools. And they keep on adding all these things. DevOps, if anybody wanted to look more into DevOps, ops work is kind of Amazon DevOps. I don't know anything about it. This is where you can do a lot more DevOps and chef and automation and things like that. I don't have any idea on that, but if anybody is looking for DevOps based on Amazon, ops work is probably a place to look at. So let's start with the CloudWatch. So what is CloudWatch? CloudWatch is actually, I have it here, CloudWatch is actually a monitoring service of Amazon where you can use to monitor your applications that run on Amazon and also the different services. Amazon CloudWatch can monitor Amazon EC2 instances, DynamoDB, Amazon RDS, anything, ELBs and all those things actually you can use to use CloudWatch to monitor. So the CloudWatch can monitor these things and then it can send you alerts. CloudWatch also has a great feature of dashboards. You can have a nice dashboards configured so that you can see the performance and statistics of your services. So CloudWatch is actually widely used by every company in Amazon. It is not free. CloudWatch, there is a cost associated for it. You can see that, there is a free tier, you can have many applications should be able to apply, you get some free, new and existing customers also receive 3 dashboards up to 50 metrics per month is free. Apart from that, you can also do basic monitoring up to 5 minutes frequency. If you want detailed monitoring, you might have seen when we deploy the instances, there is an option for detailed monitoring. Detailed monitoring will give you 1 minute interval monitoring. Default is 5 minutes. So if you want detailed monitoring, you can do that with CloudWatch. So it can send you alarms, a lot of things it can do, with respect to that. The CloudWatch stores all its information in S3. It automatically creates an S3 bucket and it stores everything in there, and that is where it monitors and manage your environment. A couple of fees structure here. Amazon CloudWatch, $3 per dashboard. For detailed monitoring, it is $1 per instance at 1 minute frequency. If you want to do 1 minute frequency, it is going to cost you this money. Custom metrics, you can create different metrics in that, and there is a price for that. Alarms, per alarm, if you set an alarm, you know that we have a billing alarm. So if you are doing that billing alarm for 1 month, it is 10 cents and so on. So it is not free, basically, CloudWatch. So it's basically monitoring solution. So I just wanted to basically get on to the CloudWatch and particularly talk about how to use it, how to configure it, and that is what I am planning to do here. There is an FAQ here where you can actually get a lot of questions about CloudWatch. I think these are all general CloudWatch questions. I'm not going through that, all the things, there is a price for it, so keep that in mind. So you can monitor pretty much everything using CloudWatch. So the thing is, you see here, there is a lot more details about CloudWatch, and I think FAQ is probably the best place to look at it. Okay. Now, there is actually a AWS FAQ sessions are there, if you do that, Amazon FAQs. So here you have to go here and you can see the FAQs for every section here. You don't have to go through and compute. You want to know about EC2, you want to know about storage, you want to know about databases, migration, everything, the FAQs are right here, and that itself is good. So those who are preparing for exams, I would say you may want to go through this FAQ session. I will put this link in the chat window. So that is where you need to look at it for FAQs. Everything has complete details about everything you are talking about is right here. Okay, and these are detailed FAQ. For example, look at this Amazon VPC FAQ. It will general questions. It will cover every topic about billing, connectivity. Every service is talking about here. Okay. All right. So this is the CloudWatch console. So so there is something called as Matrix. Matrix Amazon CloudWatch more operational performance. So Amazon by default itself, it will start monitoring all the things. 540 CloudWatch metrics are available. So if you click on that, you can see here there is a lot of metrics here. Let me see. I can show you in a different way. Browse metrics. It's not showing there. Let me see how I can show you that. So if you look here, you can see that there is different 12 billing metrics. EC2 metrics. If you look at EC2, you can see that per instance, every instance you have, you can see that for example, an app server, it is read write bytes metrics, network output, network packets, CPU utilization, disk writes, network packet. And this is all for every server. So just for that one server itself, there is a lot of metrics are available. Just like that, for example, if you have a ELB, you can see the ELB's metrics. So, you can see these are our ELBs. You can see the latency, how many requests are coming, how many request counts are coming, all these, and then different error codes. If your ELB is throwing out an error code, you can actually see that, and you can actually configure that for all these things. So by default itself, there is a lot of metrics are there, and then you can configure those metrics for alerting. Okay, we will come back here. So this is the dashboard where you can create dashboards, and you can actually have a dashboards here where you can see the CPU and memory performance and all. Alarms, if you configure alarms, you can configure it here. Billing, we created that billing alarm. So that is the billing itself is having an alarm, and my alarm is already triggered because my current month bill is already more than $25. I just want to take a look at that. Where is my billing standing? It's $26.50. This is only for the 8 days of this month. Okay. With this frequency, they are saying my forecast for February, they are saying it will go up to around $70. Last month it was $59. And I can see, my pricing, the biggest cost is actually definitely EC2. And then other things, I'm paying some small amount of money. So when it comes to this CloudWatch, there is something called as logs or log groups. By default, there is a log group. This is where it actually stores all the information. And inside the log groups, you can create metrics and metric filters. We'll talk about that. So if you look at this here, this is actually where the logs, this is where actually CloudTrail, the CloudWatch stores all their information, and you will be able to generate alarms from that. We will talk about CloudTrail also. CloudTrail is more of an auditing tool. We'll talk that maybe most powerful tool, maybe more powerful than CloudWatch, but the CloudWatch utilizes CloudTrail to get events, and then it can generate alarms. So metrics, this is something they changed here a little bit. I don't like this screen. I don't know why they are showing this graph here. I don't wanted that graph here. Let me see, I can get rid of that. So you know, by default, it has all these metrics. I know, see, this is new. Anything that you see new is actually a new feature, you know, and you can see that pretty much every week Amazon is adding new features. So this metrics, earlier it was in a different form. So these are all by default, you know, Amazon has metrics, you know, where it can collect. So for example, S3. So there are 24 metrics, you know, you can see that every bucket. So look at AWS Class 10. How many objects are there? What is the size of the bucket? So you can actually see this size of the bucket. You can actually see these metrics, and you can configure alarms based on that. I'm not sure how we remove from graphs. These are all metrics, but you can configure it. We'll see how to do that in a thing. So you can actually configure some metrics here. Okay. This topic is not very easy to teach, but I think we will do this so that you will get to understand much more. Okay. All right. So what I would like to do here is, let us go and create a CloudWatch alarm. Okay. So let's go and try to do this. You know, CloudWatch. So this is where you can see all the metrics here. And you can see this is all the default metrics. You can see it can actually, basically it is monitoring all the things. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to the alarm, and then I'm going to create a new alarm. So we need, okay, now they changed it in a different way. So this is where you can see currently in your environment. In my environment, I have 540 metrics. That means it is saying there are 12 billing metrics I could create. I have, if you look at my EC2, where is my EC2? It is here, 222 EC2 metrics. You can create per metrics information. So you want to create some metrics on your EBS volumes, you can do that. Load balance specific metrics, S3 specific metrics. So let me go and show you a simple metrics from EC2. So if you go here, you know, per instance metric. So I have how many instances I have. I can create alerts based on that. So not showing anything here. I think we have it here. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, let's take one of our instance. We need to find out one instance. So I'm going to pick one of our server here. So let's go to the first page. And these are all the instances, instance names. I'm going to pick our external web server 001, and let's go and configure the CPU utilization. So you want to configure a CPU utilization of one of your server. Now you got to do this on a per server basis, okay? Then only you can set alarms. Now I'll show you, this is not the real power of Amazon Amazon CloudWatch, but this is one thing where you can actually do your CPU utilization or disk. You see that there is no metrics for memory, and I mentioned that. You can see, you know, CPU usage, CPU utilization, disk read, network, bandwidth, all these things for that particular instance. So for each instance, you can see the metrics, okay? Now this is EC2. So I'm actually going to create a CPU utilization metrics. This is what it is. It is going to do a 5 minutes thing, or if you want, you can do a 1 minute interval, 5 minutes interval. You can see all that details here. You can change the name of it if you want. You can give it a different name for your server, external web server. You can do that, web server CPU utilization. You can save that. You can see the average minimum sum and all those things, different values you can see. And here it comes here. Now this is the utilize. There is now no values right now here. You want to do, from this, and then you click next. Here is where you actually going to create your alarm. So you selected your metrics, what you want to monitor. You selected, you want this external web servers. That is what you want to actually monitor it. And now you want to configure an alarm. So here, let's call it as external web server 001 dash CPU dash utilization. I'm just giving the same name here for this. Now, whenever the CPU utilization is greater than or equal to, you can say 60-70% for one consecutive period. One consecutive period is 5 minutes. So you can change that also if you want to 1 minute or 15 minutes or something. So right now by default, it's 5 minutes. So if your CPU utilization of this particular server is more than 70% for 5 minutes, it is going to generate an alarm. So you can configure that, and you can see this is the graph that is saying when it reaches here, it is going to send you an alert for that particular instance. It is external web server 001. You are doing the CPU utilization. You can have this standard metrics and things like that. Okay. Now, it is going to generate an alarm. You can actually create an alarm here, but it is not going to send you any email alerts or anything. So you need, whenever this alarm is in state in alarm, when it is in OK or in sufficient mode. So I'm saying when it becomes an alarm, send me a notification. So I have some notifications already configured. We will, I think I didn't talk about SNS, correct? Did I talk about SNS, how to configure notifications? So simple notification.
No, not yet.
Okay, no. All right, so that's fine. We will get into there. It is not a big thing here. You can actually create SNS is basically Amazon's notification service where you could configure that to or subscribe to get email notifications. Let me just configure this for now. So I'm going to say class 10, and it is actually going to send me an email. It can send to multiple people if you have, if depending on what you configure, it can send you multiple email alerts. It can be email alert, it can be SMS text messages, it can be some web APIs. You can do many things. You can actually use this to even take, yeah, you can definitely get text messages. You can configure it as SMS. I'll show you when I get on to SMS. So you can do that, and then you create an alarm. So right now it will be so the state of an alarm data when you configure it will be insufficient data, or sometimes it will be okay depending on. So most of the time you can see them things sitting there in the insufficient data. That means it is not having enough data. It will always stay in this category until there is an alarm. If the value of this changed to 70% for 5 minutes, okay. If it is 70% for 3 minutes and then it goes down, it's not going to trigger it. It has to be 70% continuously for 5 minutes. Now you can do that for 10 minutes. Normally this is not the way people do for CPU utilization and all. I would normally go for 2 consecutive I can modify that. I will normally go for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or I can do 5 minutes and then I will say it will be 2 minutes. So this is equal to 10 minutes. 2 consecutive periods. The period is 5 minutes. Okay. So this is going to trigger an alarm. So you can see that it is 7 for 10 minutes. So this is going to trigger an alarm if you want to do that.
I have a question here.
Okay.
So let's say, so you're doing this for one server, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if this is your standard for like all your servers? So can we use this alarm for like a group of servers or something like that?
Um, I think in CloudWatch you don't have that option. You have to do that for individual servers. But
Oh, really?
as I
Wow.
said, Kashif, we don't use CloudWatch alarms for servers. We use SCOM. So SCOM
Oh, I
is
see.
doing our alerting for it. So this is just, Amazon wanted their partners to make some money too. So
Right.
depending on what you want. So if you really want proper monitoring and all, I would say you may want to go with SCOM or any other alerting tool. So this is on a per instance or per metrics, I would say, rather basis. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, so this is how you create an alarm. You can do that. As I said, when you go and create an alarm, these are all the metrics that are possible for you. Now, this EC2 metrics is showing 222 because I may have around 10 instances. 10 instances, each instance will have probably 10 or 15 metrics and multiply by 10. That is why you see 22 or something, okay? So if you look at the ELBs, now you can see that the ELB, ELB has different type of metrics. You can do that per load balancer, per load balancer metrics. If you look at it, you can see that in a per load balancer metrics, you can do on a per load balancer per um, availability zone. You can do it using availability zones. You can see all the data here, okay? So the screen is somehow not coming up good. So if you want a per load balancer, so we have two load balancers here. You can see that each load balancer they have a so class 10 ELB. You can send if you have a 200 two HTTP error code, not error code, HTTP code 200. 200 is a success message. 300, 400 is an error. Healthy host count. This is a very important thing. We normally configure this metrics all the time. Healthy host count. So I have two instances in my ELB at this point. If one of the instance goes down, how do you know it? So you want to configure this. So you can select that particular thing so that you will get or healthy host count. You don't want to do that. If normally you want to get a message when unhealthy host count. If one of the uh, one of the instance goes down or becomes unhealthy, if it is not responding, it is hung or something, you want to get a notification. So you can actually do that. And then you can come here, you can say that, depending on how many instances you have, if the unhealthy, so it's basically, I'll just put it 0. You can say, class 10 ELB dash unhealthy host alarm. So you do that. I'm saying here, if the count of unhealthy host, whether you have 5 instances or 1 instances or anything, normally, people start with 2 instances, but in big environments, I've seen up to like 16, 20 servers in one ELB. So if your unhealthy host reaches more than 0 or 1, or depending on your thing, for a particular period of time, it is going to send you an alert. So it's greater than or equal to 1. That is what you need to put. 0 is not good. Otherwise, you need to put equal to or something, okay? Is greater than or equal to 1. So if you have 2 instances and if one instance goes down, this will trigger, isn't it? You see that value? Are you guys following me? And you can send unhealthy, and this is the ELB it is going to monitor, and then the same thing, state is alarm. When the state becomes alarm, I want to send a notification. So it will be sending me a notification You can add multiple notification. If you have another person, you can actually add another notification to another list of people if you want. It will go to different DLs or distributed list or something like that. You can configure multiple things and then you create an allow. So now that will also come here in insufficient data. So if you have an ELB and if one of your node is down, it is going to trigger an allow. Now to do that, let me see, I can probably trigger that alarm, the ELB alarm. So we don't have any load balances. Okay, it was actually the old data. So that is not going to work. So I deleted those things. So the metrics still have it there. Okay. Anyway, so you're getting what I'm saying, right? I don't need to spend much time, but you can configure things. So look at your, you always look at your metrics, and depending on what is available, you can configure whatever you want. Okay. I'll come back here. Before doing that, I just wanted to show you quickly. We'll talk more about SNS later. So SNS this is where you can do the messaging. SNS. SNS stands for Simple Network Notification Service. So in SNS, basically there are a couple of things here. What I want to do is you need to create something called as a topic. A topic is where Amazon understands how to send these emails. So you create a topic and then you create subscriptions for that. That is what you need to do. So SNS also can do some application for application platform. I don't know this. You can also send SMS message, a text messaging. You can do sending an SMS message. You can do that also. So first thing, if you want to configure okay, hold on one second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. So if you want to configure SNS notification, you have to create something called as topic. Okay. So first you configure your topic. So we can create a new topic, and then based on that you need to create a subscription. So let me show you how to create a topic here. So you can come here and create something called as a topic. So you can we'll call it as class 10 topic, and then you can give same name. You can put it here. Okay. So you create a topic. So this is the topic you created. Once you create a topic, you can subscribe. You can subscribe to a topic. You can create subscriptions for that. You can edit. There are a couple of options here. Delivery status here. So if you go here and enter into this, you can see that this is actually the topic. So you can create a subscription. Let me get into this a little bit. Okay. Hold on one more second, guys. I'm getting some back-to-back calls. Hey, hello, Nakul. Hello? Yeah, tell me, Nakul. Good, good. Nakul, I'm in the class. Can we talk after this or tomorrow? Or, thanks, bye. So once you create a topic, then you have to create a subscription for it. Okay. So that is where you configure what you want to do. So you can go here and then you can say create a subscription. So this is where you need to specify, who is getting that email. So this is your topic. You cannot change that. Now, as I said, you could use HTTP, you could use email, you could use SMS. If anybody wants to get SMS notification, you can do that here and you put your phone number here. If you want to get email, you can put your email address here. So I'm just going to do something called as, my email address here, and then you create a subscription. So you can see that it created a subscription for me under that topic. So you don't need too many topics. You just need only one topic, because that is how Amazon understands, okay, which topic it needs to use for its communication. So different business units, different services, you can create separate topics, but you need to have something called as a topic. You need to create a topic to do that thing. So once you create a topic, under that topic you can actually use subscription. So I actually created a subscription and it is saying pending confirmation. So now I would have got an email now from Amazon, and you need to do a confirmation for it. Hold on 1 second here. Just waiting for that email to come. Okay, I got a subscription email from Amazon. Look at here. I got an email from Amazon saying you are choosing to subscribe to this particular topic. Now, as I said, you have to create different topics for your different needs. So this is actually the topic. So once you do that, you click on confirm subscription and it will automatically take you here and you will see a subscription confirmed message. You all need to do this, okay? Once you do that, once your subscription is confirmed, you can close this here. And now if you come back here and you do a refresh, you can see that this becomes a complete thing. So you can see that now it becomes the thing. So actually I have that thing confirmed here. It is actually confirmed subscription. If you go here, you can, where is it? Okay, it is actually confirmed here. So now I created my subscription. It is going to be email. If you want to have another text messages, you can actually come here, do the same thing, put SMS and put your phone number and create a subscription, and it will automatically, for SMS you don't need any confirmation on it. So now I created both of these things, and now let us go back here to our CloudWatch alarm, and let's pick one of our things. So let's take this CPU utilization thing itself, and I'm going to change the subscription here. I wanted to use it in a different way, so I will come here and I will modify here and look here. Now when I do this notification, do I see a thing? So class 10 topic, this is what we created, correct? So when you do the class 10 topic, it's managed in the SNS console. So you can do that. This notification list is managed in the console. So all I need is to do this, and it will send an email to me. So just specify this. So whoever is mentioned in that notification, they're all going to get that email or text notification. Make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So so that is where you can do that, this thing. So we'll talk a little bit more about SNS probably in the next class. So you can create, you can see that how many topics you have, how many endpoints, I mean how many subscriptions you have. This is something new. I think you don't need to do anything. I think, I don't know, manage text messaging preferences. I think there are some more additional features they might have added here. I don't know what this is. This is something new I'm just seeing here. Text messaging, you need to sending an SMS message. I think this is all just text image, but basically you need to create a topic, and then under the topic you create subscription. So if you go here, you can see all the subscriptions you have. And endpoint, it will tell you what are those endpoints. You can see that, I have my phone numbers, I have my email address, and then the topic ARN is also there, specified there. Okay. So I see some question here from Nasir Reddy. How do we really configure the CPU utilization is really going up or down? How do we really configure the CPU utilization is really going up or down? Up or down, Nasir Reddy, I don't understand. Can you speak a little bit on what you exactly you're looking for?
Can you look at the first question?
What is that? Okay, graph on the x-axis, it can know the time, but I do understand the parameter for y-axis. I didn't get you. What is that? Can you explain?
Can you open the graph?
Yeah, it is here.
Yeah. So what is actually when you said 70, 80, how do we know when we really started working on,
So this is we are talking about an instance, correct? We are talking about external web server, correct? It is a Windows server, agreed?
Yes.
So this web server is running and it is serving your company's website, correct?
Yeah.
So you want to know when the CPU utilization of this server goes beyond a certain percentage, you want to get a notification. Now, what you're going to do and all is a different thing. You can do more things. You can actually use this with auto scaling. You know that, right? We did that. For auto scaling, you can specify, okay, if the CPU utilization of these two servers are going above 80%, add a new, and we did that, correct? Similar, that is a different story, but again, it was actually, auto scaling was taking advantage of CloudWatch to do its job. But here I'm not talking about that. I am a Windows Server admin. I wanted to know when this server CPU utilization is going more than 70%. I want to know if there is some problem. So that is what I am doing here.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know. What is your doubt here?
My doubt is, for the first time when we started using this CloudWatch, initially we don't know how much percentage of CPU we're using. So it depends on the company, of course, but how do we really know the percentage of the CPU or particular instance is going 20, 40, 60? Or
Okay, that is not the CloudWatch. Okay, so if you want to know it, all right, let's go and let's start these instances. Okay, so let's just give it some time. It will come up. The CloudWatch will start showing these metrics. Okay, so if you go here now, if you want to know the CPU utilization of the thing, you can come here to the dashboard. Okay, you want to know, you can create a dashboard here, and let's call it as external web server CPU usage. So create a dashboard here. Now you want this type, I'm just going to do this stack thing, configure. Now you want to know the CPU utilization metrics, correct? So I'm coming to EC2 and I'm going to do a per instance. And I wanted to now figure out external web server 001 CPU utilization, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm going to say create widget. So it's now going to create that. It is created now here, and now you just wait for some time. Right now there is no data, but it is going to come up here. Okay, so you can see the range, and it is going to come up. So this is just for monitoring. So you want to know what percentage it is. But what we have done here with this one is when the CPU utilization of that particular server, which is this server, when it reaches 70%, not just reaching 70%. So remember this thing, okay? You see that straight line? That is important, okay? That straight line is very important. If your CPU utilization is going like this, it is not going to do anything. It has to go up to 70% and stay there for 5 minutes, not 5 minutes. In this case, it has to stay there for 10 minutes. In between 10 minutes, if it drops, this is not going to trigger that alarm. So this will trigger an alarm when it crosses 70%. That is what you want to know, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you want your CPU utilization is less than 20%, you want to get an alarm, you can do that. You can configure another alarm for that. You know, you can say, you know, go here and you create another alarm and you specify the same thing. You know, you can pick your EC2 instance, whatever instance you want, you can pick, and then click next. And here you can come here and say when the CPU utilization is less than or equal to 20%, it is going to send you an alarm. So you can do it both ways, but it will only send you for that particular value. If you want to know continuously, you want to monitor your thing, and then that is where you need to use your dashboard. So external web server CPU usage dashboard. And
This is what I was looking for. This
it will send you. But this dashboard for, you know, depending on how much metrics, how much you're collecting in it, is $3 a month.
Okay. This again is something different price. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So
one more question I have here. So is it gonna send only one alarm or multiple alarm? Like
yeah, you are a SCOM guy, man. It's difficult to address your issues. Yeah, it is not.
okay, don't worry.
Yeah, I know. It is not going to. It is going to send you only one alarm. I don't know whether we could configure it to send multiple alarms. I don't think we have an option there.
That's fine.
It will send
You know, sometime, you know, if you miss one email and, you know, you want to get it again. So that's fine. No big deal.
No, I don't think it can do that. All right. Okay. So now I wanted to talk about something else. So let's take a step back here. So here there is an OK thing here. What is OK here? What thing is saying OK? Okay, state is OK. So these two things it is saying the state is OK. Okay. So what I wanted to talk now is there is something called as logs, log metrics, CloudTrail. So we can create alarms. So this is just what we done is just the simple thing. You know, you have a metrics and you can use CloudWatch to send you metrics. But that is not the thing. I want to know if somebody deletes an instance. I want to know if somebody creates a new security group inbound rule. I want to know if anybody log in to my Amazon account using root account. If anybody log in with root account, I want to know immediately. If anybody deletes an instance, I want to know immediately. If anybody do something in my thing, you know, somebody creates a bucket or somebody upload a file or download a file, I want to know. Can CloudWatch help you with notification to that? I think that is where the CloudWatch more powerful features come into picture. Okay. So in order to do that, first we need to understand what is CloudTrail. So let me take a step back here, then we'll come back here, and then I'm going to the CloudTrail. So CloudTrail is very, very powerful. I think everybody should configure it. CloudTrail is basically, it's free of cost, but CloudTrail is just like your event viewer in your Windows server, right? In event viewer, what does the event viewer give you?
all the logs, who all performed what and those kind of stuff. Which user performed what action.
Yeah, CloudWatch, Cloud Event Viewer basically can give you all the events that are happening in your server, right? If somebody reboots the server, if somebody creates a folder, everything can be, I mean, depending on what you want to really log, Event Viewer will have those information. If anybody logs into your computer, it will immediately have the information. If anybody reboots, if anybody shut down, anything you do on a server, it will be logged. So Amazon AWS CloudTrail provides a record of your AWS API calls. Now, anything you are doing in Amazon console or whether using API or anything, it is all API calls. So you can use that data. Every activity in Amazon can be stored in S3, and then you can go through that. So, you know, if something goes wrong, the first place I would go and look at is actually CloudTrail. So you can go and look at the CloudTrail and configure it. So CloudTrail basically store all that information in S3. You don't need to do anything. It will actually store in S3 and it will keep on storing data. So you will be paying some money for it, but it is not that much big money. You know, Amazon S3 is very cheap. So if you use it continuously, so believe me, in my environment, we're using this for a couple of years. I think we never paid more than $3 or $4 for that data. It will store all that information here. And once that data is there, you can look up for the API history. So you can look at different API activity captured for your AWS account, such as IAM user made a particular API call, which API call failed. So who tried to log in, it failed. You know, you tried to log into Amazon and your login failed. It's an API call. You try to log in, that is an API call. You try to delete something, that's an API call. You create a bucket, it is an API call. So all that API calls or related activities will be logged in AWS CloudTrail. Now, AWS CloudTrail is not going to store about your CPU utilization and things like that. No, these are Amazon-specific events are stored in S3. You understand the difference? AWS CloudTrail will store all the events related to AWS resources. Okay, and then once that is done, you can actually get notified for certain aspects with the help of CloudWatch. So what it does is, CloudTrail will store all this information in S3, and then you can configure CloudTrail to send this information to CloudWatch logs, and then CloudWatch will use that information and it can send SMS notifications to certain activities. So if I want to know if anybody log into my account using root account, other than me, if anybody log in with a root account, I want to know. Anybody log in with the root account other than me, I want to get a notification. Or any attempt to log in as root, I want to get. So you can use this combination of CloudTrail and CloudWatch to get that alert. This is the beauty of this thing. So let's go and get and configure this CloudTrail. So you need to configure to CloudTrail. You know, you can turn on and turn off. It is just like a recording session. So I'm going to call it as, you know, class 10 trail. Okay. Now, when you create a CloudTrail, by default, it will configure the trail for all the regions. So if you have a server in Singapore, or if you have a server in Brazil, or if you have an ELB in Brazil, or if you have an S3 bucket in Singapore, those activities will also be stored in CloudTrail in one single location. Now, if you want to do it only for a particular region, then you can do that. There is an option. Create the same trail in all regions and deliver logs for all regions. So this is what I would prefer. But if you have so many regions and so many services running in different regions, then I will not do this. I will configure individual cloud trails for each region. But right now we're going to do this for all regions. So this particular thing is going to create a bucket because it needs to store all this information in a bucket. So you can specify a bucket name. So let's call it as, class 10 trail logs. Okay, so it is going to create a bucket. And there is some advanced options here, log prefix, log file prefix, you don't need to do anything. If you have subcategories, you can do that here. You don't need to specify anything there. If you have a subfolder, you can actually do that. SNS for every log delivery. You don't want to do this. Every time it sends a log, you want a delivery email. No, you don't want to do that. So log validation is basically a mechanism where it checks whether the logs are good. And that is it basically. You just do that and you say turn on, and it is going to turn on that CloudTrail for your environment. So once you have the trail configured, so you can see that CloudWatch log group is not configured yet. So this is the bucket. So let us go and take a look at this bucket, whether it's created a Cloud 10 bucket here. So if you go to the CloudWatch, so class 10 trail logs, this is the bucket. It created a folder called, this is not a folder, this is not a bucket. Only the top thing is called as a bucket. And inside the bucket, there is a folder, and that folder will have my account name. It will have CloudTrail, it will have the US East region. It will start adding other regions if I have some activities there. Since I don't have anything in other regions, I don't see anything. 2017, today's month, today's date, and it already started getting some data. These are all coming as JSON zip files, and it will stay there. This is the data, this is the file that has all the data. So if you go back here, you can see CloudTrail data from my previous class. If you look here, you can see that data for, so you can see that for every region I have. Northeast, it will slowly pop up, okay? So we just created it, and eventually it will start building all these environments for each region. So what we need is actually US East 1. So if you go to US East 1, you can see that I have it from 2016 and 2017. Or if you look at 2017, 12th month, you can see every day. You can go on a particular day and it will start loading. You can see that there is so much data is there, but these are all in KB, so don't, and some are in even bytes. So it's not going to add too much of data, but yes, it will, depending on how much activities you are doing, the CloudTrail will be stored. Because you need to know, if you have 100 users and they are all doing things, CloudTrail has to log all that information, okay? So that is the bucket. That is the bucket that you have configured your CloudTrail. So we have done the first part. So once you have done that, you can see the details here. So this is actually where you need to look at. This is actually not from our immediate thing. It is actually from last week. Actually, it was yesterday's stuff. Today, I logged in today. That information is there. This is actually from the old thing. I deleted actually before the class. I had a trail here. I deleted. Right now we have our new trail. It's coming up. This is the trail. I had a class 9 trail here. But once you delete the trail, it is not going to delete all these activities. It is going to stay there. So I just wanted to show you here. So console login, root, I logged in. So I logged in here. If anybody else logged in my environment, I can find out right from here. So you can see here, event ID is this, this is the IP address where I logged in, what time, that informations are right there, okay? So if you go here and view event, it will show you in the JSON format exactly. So these are all things that can be used by APIs, and when you're writing programs and all, you could actually use it. So this is actually the real data. This is the JSON file actually that you saw. It is saying about the console login US East 1. The user was root. It was a successful login. I used the browser Chrome. All that information is there, recipient account ID, or console login, all that things, did I use any MFA used? No. Did I use any mobile version? No. all that information is right there. What was the account that I used, which account I logged in, what was the ARN name of the thing. You getting? So all that information is right there. For example, I wanted to show you another thing. Delete access key, delete this thing. So let me just try to show you. See, I have a start Churian. So I created yesterday, I think when we did it, as a user Churian, I started an instance. So let's look at how that log looks like. So here is the thing, the key that it uses here. So you can see that I did a start instance, and this was the thing. So which instance I used? Does it know which instance? The instance ID is right here. You will get that from here. So that is a even name is start instance. So if you want to know the details of that, actually, you can actually see that right from here. I don't want to talk about this right now, but event here it is. So this is the instance that I tried. The username is this. The user didn't have an MFA. He signed in, and the action he did was actually he started the instance, and this was the IP address, and this is the instance ID. But it is logging here. Every activity is getting logged here. Are you guys following me? Every action is getting logged here. But how do I get a notification when such an instance, somebody started an instance? I think this is what is more important to you, right? Rather than a CPU utilization and things, you can have different monitoring tools to do that. But how do you really get notified when an event like this happens? This is where you really want to keep your attention. You want to know, is anybody deleting an instance, anybody stopping an instance? So anything, I'm just giving an example. You can see that, every property that you're doing is actually logged here. See, deregister instance, deleting instance, register, creating tags. Any API activity will be logged here. Is that clear, guys? Any questions? So we have these logs, and it is just started logging. So, and another thing I want to talk, see here I created CloudTrail, create a trail. So it is actually started that. Now it started working. Now one important thing, and I still don't have an answer for it, it takes couple of minutes, or sometimes even 5 minutes, or sometimes more than 5 minutes for a particular event to show up in CloudTrail. That is because CloudTrail stores all the information, gets the information, then it is stored in S3, and then it has to pull it from S3 to show it. So it takes some time. So if somebody stop an instance or delete an instance, you're not going to get that message immediately. It takes at least 2-3 minutes, or sometimes even 5 minutes. And that is how it is. I don't know why, but I asked questions to Amazon about it, but they said this is how it is configured. So why, I don't know. But it takes at least 2-3 minutes for a particular event to show up here. So, and I can give you an answer for that. Let's go and stop one of my instance here. So we have 2 instances here, and I'm going to stop this particular instance right now. Okay. And let's see it will show up in CloudTrail or not. I can also probably go and delete a bucket, and let's see whether that will show up here. So class 8 bucket action. Where is that? How do I delete that bucket? I think it is.
Maybe you go one level up.
Yeah, but I think I need to select that bucket here, and then I can delete that bucket. Class 8 bucket name. Okay, so I deleted some buckets, and now let's go and look at our CloudTrail API activities. We'll see here. Is it showing up here? Okay. Some stuff is started coming up. Put bucket, create bucket. I didn't create any bucket. So these are things that we created as part of. So what is the bucket we created? Anybody know? We had created a bucket called the class 10, right? For the CloudTrail. That is what this thing is. So if you go to the event, probably it will show you what is the name of the bucket. See here? It is telling me. It just says, it created a bucket, and you can see that the bucket name, and it will tell you who created that and things like that. Okay. So let's just wait here for a few minutes. It will take some time to show these new activities to come up. It will come up. So now I'm going back to the trails. So this is what it is, how CloudTrail work. CloudTrail events can be processed one trail for free. There is charge for processing events by additional trails. If you have additional trails, you may have to pay money and all. So this is the trail, and we are doing it for all regions. I'm going to click on this particular thing, and you come here. So you are configured it for all the trails, include global services. This is where your log. So if you don't want logging, you don't want CloudTrail to do it, you can actually turn it off. I'm not doing that. If you want to delete your CloudTrail, you can delete it from here. But this is where you can turn it on and turn it off. Okay, I'm not doing that. It's just a click of a button. It will start storing. So if you can configure it and keep it there. If you don't want it to log, then you can just turn it off. You don't have to delete it all the time. So this is all the general settings, and here is where we going to tell CloudTrail to send configure delivery to CloudWatch log. So you want CloudTrail to send these information to CloudWatch so that CloudWatch can be configured to send SMS notifications. Okay, so that is what we're going to do now. You click next. So CloudTrail default log group, you can give a name for it if you want, new or existing log group. There is already a log group there, so I'm going to use that log group. You continue that. So here is where a couple of things, and yesterday I told you about roles. So here you see here, so the CloudTrail, okay, the CloudTrail needs to send this information to CloudWatch. So it needs certain permissions. So that is where actually a role come into picture. So you can actually where there is a role is already there, CloudWatch logs, or you can create a new role, and that role will have certain permissions. So basically it is going to create a policy, or you can actually, you can see that it is automatically create a policy. We will look into that policy related. So in this particular case, you don't even have to do anything here, but I just want to show you the details. What it is going to do is it is going to create a log CloudTrail group. It's called as CloudTrail CloudWatch logs underscore role. That is the role it is going to create. And that role will have a policy. So I told you role is nothing but something that you can attach to these kind of things. You can attach a role to an instance also, so that that instance can perform on behalf of that role. So basically you're creating a role here, and that role you're going to give a permission, some policy, manage policy or a custom policy or something. In this case, it is an Amazon managed policy it is going to create. That policy will have certain permission. We can look at that policy, what that policy says. That policy may have certain rules and all. Okay, you can do that, you can do that. So you put all that thing. So I think your policy document is here. I think it is here. That is the policy here. So the policy is also actually showed here. This is that policy do. What it can do, it is saying, okay, it's going to send the logs to the CloudTrail. It is going to put the logs, or all that information. So we don't need to do anything here, but if you want, you can create your own custom policies and all, but I don't do that. If you want to edit it, you can actually do that. So this is what it is. It is going to create a role and a policy to do this whole thing. So basically, we're going to do this, and we're going to say allow, and it is done. So it is actually validating your role. It is actually creating the role, and it is validating, and it worked. So it is sending CloudWatch logs, it is sending to CloudTrail default group. It created a log group. That log group name is called CloudTrail default log group, and it is using an IAM role for that. So this is it. So basically you are done with all these things. You don't need to do anything, basically if you want you can create some tags and all. You don't need to do anything. So let's go here and let's go to IAM and look at our roles and see whether we can see the role that we talked about right now. So here it is, CloudTrail CloudWatch logs underscore role. This is the role it created. If you go to the role, and you can see that it has multiple policies attached to it, and if you want to see the policy, I think it is all the same policies, the same thing from the past. It is there, and this is that policy it is doing. I don't know what it is going to do. It is basically putting the thing. So it's basically it is getting the resource from the CloudStream log, and then it is going to put that thing in allow action is actually logs, put log events into this particular thing. So this is all Amazon custom created. Basically what you're doing is that logs, it is taking from CloudTrail logs and putting it into log stream for CloudWatch. Okay. So these are all the policies. So you can actually simulate the policy and see, and you know how to create the policy. So these are default policies that it created. All right, so that's done. So now we will go and do some more things. So let's go and look at CloudTrail and see whether we are seeing the thing. So here is the thing. So I did all the things. Is it showing here? I stopped that instance, correct? I stopped that instance and it is showing that, okay, that instance is stopped by root and particular time. All the details is here. I deleted some buckets. So here is the thing. So I deleted a bucket, and if you want to know the details of that bucket, what was that bucket name and all, everything is here, class 10, class 8, the bucket. So by looking at this, you can pretty much find out anything that has happened, who did and what access key is used, what IP address is used. So be careful, okay, if you try to do it, actually somebody has a CloudTrail on, and you should have CloudTrail on so that, any questions can be answered. Now, in this CloudTrail, it is going to store a hell lot of information. So you don't want to do that. You can actually sort this with a particular event names, particular event IDs. You can do that with different, if you want to have a particular username, and then you can say, okay, I want to know everything from Cherian. And, if I do that, and it will show you only the things that belongs to, no, it didn't do that. Yeah, I think everything has my name, Cherian, that is why. So if you look here, you will see there is a Cherian username. So because my root name is Cherian, see here, that's why. So, or if you can put a particular resource type, and you can say, you want to see instance. So it will show only the instance specific actions. So many things. You can see that they terminate instance, stop instance. You can see that, even from long back, you can see that, I'm going back to many days, and you can see that, depending on how long you can go back, you can see the instances. What actions is done. You can specify a particular time range and look at it. You can do everything and find out. This is a very, very powerful and very, very important tool. Without configuring CloudTrail, I don't think you will know exactly what is happening in your environment. So today itself, I would recommend all you guys, and don't even worry about how much money it is going to cost you. It won't cost you so much money, but keep that on so that you know what exactly is happening. Now, you don't need any AWS CloudWatch alarms. As long as you can come here and look at it on a daily basis or an hourly basis, if you can come and look at this, you know when an instance is stopped. But I just imagine in my office, I have so many instances running. If somebody power off or some instance went off, it could be maybe because of an Amazon problem. I need to know about it, right? So maybe now Kashif is saying, oh, okay, I have a SCOM configured, so if that server is not responding, my SCOM will alert me, isn't it? Okay, that's true. But what about you have a very confidential S3 bucket that you stored some very confidential information. Somebody tried to access it or somebody deletes that. SCOM may not be able to do that. I know SCOM do have some management pack and it can monitor quite a lot of things, but not everything. So you're getting what I'm saying? So it has to be configured.
Right.
Okay. How long does CloudTrail store the logs? It will store it for indefinite. It will store it for indefinite. It is not going to go because Amazon allowed people to store as much as you can so that they can make more money. So they will not delete anything until you delete it. So Amazon is saying keep on it. This is your audit trail. You can go back to 5 years, 6 years back and make it. But then you can, if you don't want all these things to stay in your S3 bucket, what you can do? Anybody? Quickly. When you don't want to pay that much money, what do you do?
Versioning.
Correct. You go to not versioning, you go and do the life cycle management. Move
Yeah,
it.
life cycle, yeah.
Not versioning. Versioning is going to create
Yeah.
double the data, but you may want to do life cycle management. You say, okay, any data that is more than 30 days, go to infrequent access, and from infrequent, go to Glacier. Correct? All right, cool. So now let's go back to CloudWatch. So go to logs, and you can see this log group is here now. So this is the log group. I'm going to click on that. So the new thing that we created is actually here 2.8. So this is the new CloudTrail log group. So this is from my previous one. You don't need that. But this is the CloudTrail log. So you can see that it is started getting all the data. Everything is now. Where is this coming from? Where is this data coming from?
CloudTrail.
It is coming from CloudTrail. How is it coming? Because we configured the CloudTrail to send information to CloudWatch. Remember the last step we did, correct? So this is the thing, the key thing, and this is where you can actually configure the thing. So you can delete that log stream or whatever. You can also manually create log stream and then point it there, but I don't recommend that. I always do it at CloudWatch and then collect the data here. So this is your CloudTrail log groups, and inside the log groups you will have the log streams. Okay, log groups will have log streams. This is called the log stream, which contains the real data. Now there are filters you can create, and this is where I am coming to. Very, very important. This is how I am going to configure my alerts. So here I just want to show you. I can create metrics filters. So how do you really do this is actually a little interesting here. See, this is how, I mean, I don't know exactly how to do that, but there is some ways to do this. So let me take this here. You see here, this particular thing, this particular alert is going to see authorization security egress group. So if anybody authorizes, a egress, outgoing port, so you can see dot even name. So it is actually anything that happens in Amazon with creating an instance or deleting or anything. It's actually an event name. Everything has an event name. Let me go back to CloudTrail and show you. Delete an instance. For example, let's say where is our instance? Stop instance. Event name. You see here, stop instance. I am looking for that particular variable and I wanted to take that to do my alerting. So here dot even name equal to create security group, even name is equal to delete security group. I want to get an alert. So that is exactly what it is doing here. So if you go to CloudWatch, logs and metrics, so this particular metrics that I created, I will show you how to create this particular thing, or let's take this as instance. Okay. If anybody start an instance, stop an instance, terminate an instance, see that filter part, dot even name is equal to run instance, Dot event name is equal to reboot an instance. Dot event name is equal to start an instance. Dot event name is equal to stop instance. You can add many things here. Anything dot event is equal to create a group. So I would create different things for different metrics, because you can then categorize, if you just put everything in one metrics, then you may get an alert, but you don't know what exactly that is. So look at this particular thing. We will configure this now and see whether the alert comes up. So you can see that the alarm is configured and things like that. So what I'm going to do now is I wanted to create a filter and show you how that is going to work. So let's do this for start instance. So I'm actually going to edit this. I'm going to select all, copy this. Let me put this in a notepad. So this is the thing, I can configure it here. Okay, so I just have this here. Let me go back 1 minute. I'm going to delete all these. No, I'm going to delete this one. Okay, I don't want that. There is another one, terminate instance. I don't want that. I want to delete it. All right, so I'm going to create a new metric filter, and the filter pattern is this. So this is what I wanted the filter pattern to look like. I want to know, I don't want to know, if you don't want to see this format has to be, it has to start with a bracket, and then you put event instance name. See, this is one thing, and then you do a pipe, and then do the second thing, then you do a pipe. So if I don't want terminate instance, then you can remove that. Okay, but I just want to know all the instance actions. So I'm just doing running instance, reboot instance, start instance, stop instance, terminate instance. Is this clear? So this is called as a filter pattern. Now you can do Google search and give it. You don't need it. If you know now, you know the format now, so you can actually do that. All you need to know is the event name. So if you want to do something, let's say we want to create a event pattern for creating a bucket and deleting a bucket. Can anybody help me do that? I want to create a metrics filter for creating a bucket and deleting a bucket. How do I do it? I mean, if I've given you a chance, how do you do that? Anybody? At least give me
Yeah, you just
give me some idea. How do we approach that issue? I want to know if anybody creates a bucket or anybody deletes a bucket. I want to get an alert.
so just like this one, you can add, like dollar event name equal to create bucket, delete bucket.
Or do you know it is delete bucket? So first thing is, so this
Yeah,
is how you
know
need to know.
exactly.
So you go to CloudTrail and find out what is the event name for creating a bucket. I mean, there may be documentations for Amazon that, but I wanted to know that. So I'm going to Amazon. I'm going to the CloudTrail, and I'm going to find, okay, delete bucket, right? There is a thing called delete bucket. Let us find out what is the event name. It is called delete bucket, correct? So I got here. So I'm going to create a new metric filter here. I will do it like this, $sign dot event name equal to delete bucket. Is that correct? Then close the bucket, then space, pipe, space, $dot event name equal to create bucket, stop it, and then create this. Now, is it create bucket is the event name for creating a bucket? We don't know, right? I don't know. So we'll go and look at it and see is there any create bucket. So here is a create bucket is there. Let's see is the event name shows that. Yeah, it's create bucket. So we got something, correct? So now what do you do? Go to CloudWatch, go to log filter here, go to metrics, add a matrix and put your whatever you created, put the filter pattern here, okay? And then this is the CloudTrail we wanted to do it. That is the latest CloudTrail stream. I think you can do a test pattern or something. I think it just found anything. Not, that's fine. And then add metrics. So this is the name. You want to give it a name. I want to give it a name called AWS Bucket Alerts. Okay. This is the log metrics name. You can create a metrics details. I don't think you need to do anything here. Please enter a metrics name. I don't know. I'll just put this here. I don't think you need to do anything. I'll put that also here. Choose a namespace. What is that? Okay, I think you can just put that name, so it doesn't matter. All right, so create a filter. So now I'm creating a filter here. Okay, I think it does not support space. So create a filter. So now I created a filter. Is it going to send me an alert? So what is, can anybody tell me what is this filter do it? The filter that I created, it is called as AWS Bucket Alerts. What is this metric is going to do? It is going to look for if any bucket is created or any event is created, what it will do?
It will send alert.
It won't do anything. You have to call.
No, okay. Just,
So we're going to do the alert now. So I'm going to say create alarm. I'm going to say AWS Bucket Alerts. And I'm going to say whenever the AWS Bucket Alert is greater than 0, I think that's enough. Or you can say greater than or equal to 1. Send me an alarm, and I'm going to say class 10 topic. It is going to send me 2 emails, and that is enough. Actually, you don't need to do that. You know, if you want to 5 minutes, you know, this will period 5 minutes. This will actually probably say consecutive every 5 minutes. When it goes down and come up, it will send an email, and I'm creating an alarm. So right now I have an alarm here, and I have this particular setting. Similarly, let us go and create one for start and stop instance, you know. So this is that metric. So I just wanted to copy this entire thing for start instance, stop instance. Okay. And add metrics. It is going to do that. I'm going to say AWS instance notification. Okay, give it a name. I will put the same thing here. Metrics, you know, you got to give it a name. There cannot be any gaps or anything. Create a filter. So we created this particular thing. Run instance, reboot instance, start instance, stop instance is going to use this metrics. AWS instance, and then I wanted to send a notification. So I'm going to say this is the thing, and if I'm going to say greater than or equal to 1 for 1 consecutive period, send me an email alert at sherry@dascase.com, and then I'm going to create that alert. So now we are done. So now let us go here. Let's go to the thing here, and I'm going to create, first of all, I'm going to delete this bucket. Okay, so I did something. I want to delete that bucket also. That's enough. One bucket I created. Now we will also go here and stop this instance. So I did these two actions, okay? And I haven't got any emails or I haven't got any text message or anything so far in my phone. I am looking at my phone. I am doing that, so I don't have anything. So now I want to know whether these two actions happen. Where should I look first? You should look at CloudTrail, correct? So I told you it will take some time for CloudTrail to come. So it hasn't come here yet. You can see that, it created. Everything I do is coming up. These are all API actions. Delete metrics, update trail, create log stream, put role policy, create log group, everything. This delete bucket is old. So we have to wait for our new two actions to come up now. It will come up in around 2-3 minutes. Once this come up, what does that means? It will send that to where will it send
CloudWatch.
to? It will send to CloudWatch log
CloudWatch.
stream. Yeah, CloudWatch log stream. Okay, and that stream is what we configured here. That log stream is what we created, the log group. The log group, and it will go to that log stream in this log group, and then it will be stored in that log stream. Okay, and once that reaches there, CloudWatch knows that, and CloudWatch is going to send a notification. So let's just wait here for a couple minutes. Any questions, anybody? I think this is clear for everybody, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's just refresh this here. It hasn't come yet. So this is the only problem, and this is a non-problem. Somebody deleted an instance, or somebody stopped an instance, but you haven't got an instance. You haven't got an alert yet. Now, why is that? I don't know. I talked to them, and they said that is how it is. So it is not doing that. I was also asking, hey, my instance went down. I want to know immediately. According to Amazon, uh, it takes this much time. I don't know why.
So are they storing in S3 or are they using a Glacier or something?
No, they're storing in S3.
S3, right? So maybe I'm thinking they're storing somewhere else, taking long time
No,
to
S3
retrieve.
itself, S3 also is stored, it has to pull from there. So I think it is storing the information. So we don't know. If you go here and go to S3 and look at it now, you can see that the logs will be coming up now. See, all the things have started coming now already for US East 1, 2017 to 9. And you can see that the logs are already started coming. So it's coming. CloudTrail. It will come. Let's just give it a few more minutes. Any questions for anybody? Because I'm just going to finish it off before once this is done. So I think this is clear for everybody, right?
Right.
Muthu, can you please mute? Okay, here is it. So our stuffs have started coming. Delete bucket and stop instances. Both of them have come. Okay. Now the question is, how soon CloudWatch will send these alerts? All right. So this is done. So AWS bucket. These two things are not at. Okay, this one don't have no notifications. Whether you get notification or not, see, you can see that there are alarms. So all these things have become alarms now. You see that? It becomes alarm. So I might have got some emails now here. So just see now. Let me see. I didn't get an SMS. Okay, I think I did some mistake on that. All right, here you go. AWS instance notification. So when you get an alarm with this subject, what do you think? What do you think when you get a message like that?
Something happened to the instance.
There is something happens to instance. Okay, that is all you can find out from here. Now, if you wanted stopping an instance, then you create separate metrics for it. This metrics covers a lot of things. So if you can click on here and it will take you straight to CloudWatch. You know, when you get this metrics, normally what I do is when I get an instance like this, you know, it does not say anything about what has happened. The thing, it is only saying that the threshold crossed one data point. It is in an alarm stage. Whether it is a shutdown or whether it is a start or whether it is a thing, it does not know. So I want to know now what has happened, right? So make sensible decisions on how you want to make these alerts. If you want specific things, then you create multiple metrics. You can create so many metrics you want. If you don't want starting an instance or stopping an instance or something, you only want to know about terminating an instance, then you can do that. But I want to know what exactly happens to this instance. How do I find out?
You can check the log.
Event logs.
Where is event log in Amazon?
I mean events.
Which no, that is not. This is a different topic. Okay, I don't know. Creating events.
I mean
I have two. I have these alerts. Where do I see now? Come on, guys. At least okay. All right. This is actually go to CloudTrail. That is where it shows, right? So you go to CloudTrail and you see what has happened. So it will tell you what exactly. Okay, here it is. Stop instance. So the action happen is actually stop instance. There is a delete bucket also happened. Okay. So that's how you need to find out. Is this clear for everybody? So you play around with it. You can configure alarms. So just creating a normal CPU alarm is not the key thing. Basically the CloudWatch is all about looking at your CloudTrail and generating meaningful, sensible alerts from that. That is what the key thing of this. Okay.
One question I have right here. See the name here, the AWS instance notification, right? So how do we know when we go back to the audit trail and see which one is coming from? Like, when you go there, you see some numbers and,
No, you got an alarm now, right?
Right.
You know this alarm is coming from a particular metrics that you configured, correct?
Right, correct.
So that metrics is configured for 3 or 4 items. One is start an instance, run an instance, reboot an instance. So any one of this event has happened, correct?
Right, correct.
That is why this alarm has come up. Now, in between, if somebody deletes 2 other instances, you will not get an alarm, okay? This alarm is going to stay here. So you have to, go and it will clear automatically, but you can actually clear that alarm and you can do that. I think you can clear that alarm. Here there is an alarm. So this alarm, it will clear after 5-10 minutes. This alarm will go away. But, in between that 5 minutes period, if multiple servers get deleted or something, it is still going to send you only one alert. So based on that alert, you have to go to your CloudTrail to figure out what has happened.
Right. So here, how can you tell, like, because, you have like 2,000 servers, right? Something happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very fast, right? Like keep moving thing here, right? So, I mean, what I'm saying is like, how do we know which one is AWS instant stop over here? Like,
No, you cannot find out that.
you cannot.
No,
Okay.
you cannot find out that.
One by
Only thing is
one.
this can give you that. But you can find out which instance. You want to know which instance is this. That is what you want to know.
No, like what is that alert coming from? Like, like the name
No,
AWS
this
instance notification.
instance is there, right? This is there, right?
Yeah, that's
Now,
fine.
if you go to the view, it will tell you exactly what is that instance.
Okay.
It will tell you the name of the instance. This will be more your external web server. It is not going to give you the name, but it will give you the instance ID. So you know that instance is the one that went off.
Okay, where do you see here that it's going to AWS instant notification, the name we created, the one we see in CloudWatch,
Okay.
the heading of the alert.
Okay.
So where do we see in Trail over here that heading?
In the CloudTrail, you come here and you do the CloudWatch logs. You configure it here. You still have doubt?
No, like can you go back to the trail? Like logged. Okay, now by looking over here, like we got the alert, and the alert name was AWS instant notification, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I know which one of these triggered that alert?
Okay, so you want to know is this top instance or
Yeah, if this one
something?
or something
So
else
that's
or
the
something.
thing. So when you get an alert, you have to look at the alert timing and come and look at it. You have to match it with that. It does not tell you. So if I stop another instance, you're not going to get an alert. You're going to see 2 instances got stopped. It is like an event viewer. It is going to let you know that something went wrong, but to find out the details and all, you got to come here and find out.
Okay, that's fine. All right, thank you.
Okay, it won't tell you what instance, but I think there may be ways to, in fact, find out what, and you can go more. I don't know those things, but if you are a good JSON developer and you know how to write scripts, you could actually read this event, right? From here, you can actually get the instance ID and then send you a notification from that from that AWS CloudWatch. You can actually probably configure it to send a notification with your instance ID there. I'm not sure, but that needs probably some more scripting skills and stuff like that when you configure this metrics.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so when you create this filter, you can actually probably specify certain things. I'm not sure actually how to do that. How do I modify this? Yeah, so here, maybe, in this filter pattern, you could specify some more additional values here, after that, you can specify certain more strings or something where it could possibly give you the name of the instance and things like that. But you need to know how to write these patterns, filter pattern,
Right.
what you need to filter. But I don't know those things, okay, how to do that.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, so I think that is it, guys. So we'll stop here today. Tomorrow, I wanted to continue this topic. We will be probably looking at cloud formation. Cloud formation is about automation. Just the click of a button, you can create a VPC and deploy 10 instances in it. Will it be great? Cloud formation is a very powerful capability. A lot of companies do that. We have to be careful with that. If you do some mistake with the click of a button, entire thing will be wiped off. I have done that similar mistake in my production environment. So we'll talk about cloud formation, very interesting topic, how to do that. And then we'll also talk about something called as config. Config is also a very powerful feature where you can do versioning and things like that. So I will talk with the bucket versioning enabled. Bucketing is off. Good. All right. We'll talk about this config. This is also a very good feature where you can see some snapshots of your environment. How was it? What was it? What went wrong? How was my settings yesterday? What changed after that? Things like that. This is again a new feature that Amazon added recently, probably a year back, but I find it very, very interesting. So we'll talk about cloud formation and config tomorrow. And if time permits, we will probably I'll talk a little bit about directory services. The topics, we still have quite some topics to cover. Once we do that, we need to talk about device farm. Then we need to talk about RDS. We need to configure the relational databases and stuff like that. I want to talk a little bit about EFS and Glacier. Glacier we already talked, EFS. We wanted to talk about CloudFront, Route 53. We want to talk about these things a little bit. These are all the things I wanted. Then if time permits, I will probably talk quickly about these things that you can do. Work docs is just like Google Docs in Amazon, how to configure those things. But we still have these topics to cover. Okay. All right. So we'll stop here today and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we're going to have some heavy snow. So I hope there won't be any problems. If there is a power problem or any other issues, I might cancel the class. But at this point, let us keep in such a way that the class is there. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. Good night. And I will send you the videos of yesterday's and today's video, if possible, tonight itself. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.